long time, it was, do we want to actually both go out to work and have a pretty blinged up, fancy ass lifestyle? Or will we prefer if one person stays at home and one person goes out to work? Now, for that blissful period, it was still possible to maintain a household with children on one salary. The two-income household was great news for property owners. It was great news for the government because you had twice as many people you could tax. What it meant for the typical family, now I'm not making any value judgment about this, I'm just simply saying what's true, is you lost 40 hours of discretionary time each week without necessarily enjoying a market improvement in your discretionary income. Because all that happened was that house prices basically went up to mop up the spare income that was made possible by two people in a relationship working, and therefore the gains went to landowners, landlords, rather than to the people actually doing the work.
Did you know that a double income household can actually be rigged to keep you poor? I'm Rosemarie Havsom. I'm back again to let you know that you can take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it.
The fifth and final way the system keeps you broke is through scarcity mindset programming. This is where constant financial stress literally rewires your brain to make decisions that keep you poor. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain goes into survival mode. You can't think about investing for retirement when you're worried about making rent next week. You can't plan for the future when you're just trying to survive today. This creates what scientists call tunneling, where financial stress narrows your focus so much that you can only see immediate problems, not long-term solutions. But here's the crazy part. This stress actually impairs your decision-making ability. Studies show that financial worry reduces your cognitive function by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points. You're literally less capable of making good financial decisions when you're broke, which keeps you making bad financial decisions. The system exploits this perfectly. When you're stressed and desperate, you're more likely to take that payday loan, use that rent-to-own furniture, or make minimum payments on credit cards. You know these are bad deals, but you don't have the mental bandwidth to find better options. Meanwhile, advertising and social media constantly bombard you with messages to spend money you don't have on things you don't need. Buy now, pay later. You deserve this. Treat yourself. It's all designed to keep you consuming instead of saving. The system needs you stressed, desperate, and focused on immediate gratification. Because the moment you step back and start thinking long-term, you realize you're being played.
Yes, the double income family household has been designed, it's rigged, and it's rigged against you to keep you poor. Now, how would that even be the case? Well, it goes right back to the era of John D. Rockefeller. Yes, the first billionaire in the United States, who decided that he wanted to take over everything. He was an oil tycoon, and then he moved into health. Surprisingly, he also moved into different areas of industry. For which he needed workers. So he devised the plan. He went to the government and he said, look, I need workers. Help me to get people to work for my factories. And the best way of doing that was to develop an educational system. So he devised the first educational system that could be used across all of the states so that he would have a generation of workers. He wanted workers, people that would be obedient, that would not go outside of the very strict curriculum and ideas about what makes a good citizen. And a good citizen in those days and in today's day is about being a good worker. And that is what he did. It then developed into what we see today as far as how double income middle class people are shrinking because of rising costs. The rising cost of living means that the more you earn is the more that you spend because of household costs and also because of the cost of living. Now, what is this doing? It's completely dividing and conquering families, because the housing costs are through the roof. And when we know also that the data says very clearly that Black Americans are most likely to be spending in excess of 30% of their income on housing. And this is not usually on a mortgage for home ownership. It's on an apartment or some other rental property. So what he created was a generation of workers. He also made sure that women would then be incentivized to go and work outside of the home, because having the husband in a traditional setting as being head of household and being in charge of their home economics, it could be a little difficult if the wife is not feeling that she's being treated right, or that there are other surprise costs that came up. Now, back in the 1940s and 50s, they had something called a marriage penalty, that double income earners back in those days of the traditional household would then be taxed more because of the additional income, and the husband would have to pay the taxes for his wife. There's still some vestiges of that today. The main thing to remember is that once you uproot the traditional way of looking at life and family, you have all of the other expenses that comes with that. But we also see the erosion of the family, because now strangers are raising your children in daycare. Parents are now responsible for the exorbitant costs of daycare, and they don't spend very much time with their children. So the main people that are in charge of their children's education and their children's learning and life lessons is through a school environment. What is that leaving parents with? Parents are now depleted with their income from all of the other extraneous expenses. And they don't have the benefit of having their intergenerational family to help rear their children, because grandparents or the parents' parents are now off in nursing homes. This is a very diabolical way of dividing and conquering a household, and doing it through economic means. It's all been very calculated, and John D. Rockefeller put in place a system that would do just that. Keep people in their place, keep people thinking as good worker ants, and never thinking about running their own businesses or being entrepreneurs, but just keeping the path. He wanted people to be good workers and also to leave room for specialists. And that's the way we see our educational system today. What do you think about the double income family and whether that's been set up to keep people poor? I'd love to hear your opinion on that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember too that I have a YouTube channel that's Havsom, spelled H-A-V for Victor, S-O-M for mother. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.